Hello, my name is Megan Morrison, and I am here to present my showcase presentation for the 21-22 school year. I am a teacher at Pond Elementary School, which is a part of Pond Union School District. It is a school that includes grades kindergarten through 8th grade, and at that school, I teach kindergarten. I am the only kindergarten teacher at the school, as there is only one classroom per grade level since we do have a small population. Our population of students is primarily made up of um, students from socioeconomically disadvantaged backgrounds, and 29% of our students are English language learners. Looking at the growth goals that I set for myself in this first induction year, um, I set them around curriculum and assessments. So, my first goal is around assessing students for learning, primarily focusing on collecting and analyzing assessment data from a variety of sources to inform instruction. The second goal I set for myself was understanding and organizing subject matter for student learning. Focusing on organizing curriculum to facilitate student understanding of the subject matter. And the third goal I set for myself was around planning instruction and designing learning experiences for all students. And I focused on developing and sequencing long term and short term instructional plans to support student learning. And while I was looking at all of the CSTPs, these three areas really stood out to me because I felt like they were areas in which I could continue to grow. And I wanted to use this first year of induction to really hone in on areas where I needed to grow and really take advantage of the support and the conversations with my mentor. So I just wanted to ensure that what I was teaching was relevant, it was meaningful, and it was being delivered at an appropriate time in the school year. And looking at the curriculum, I noticed that there were some gaps, and the students that we had in front of us weren't necessarily benefiting just from what the curriculum was presenting to them. So I created a reading slideshow, and each week it was updated with the story, background on the story, sight words, and CVC words with the spelling patterns for them to sound out. This particular week, the spelling pattern was CK. And so the students would practice two letters, one sound. And so we would go through these on a Google Slideshow individually. We would sound it out as a class, and I would call on students to sound out individually. And I felt like it helped them build their confidence in sounding out words and recognizing their sight words when it came to reading our story. And looking at the cycle of inquiry B, my focus of this inquiry was my second goal, which was understanding and organizing subject matter for student learning, and really focusing in on organizing the curriculum to facilitate student understanding of the subject matter. And I used this goal to ensure that I was utilizing the curriculum to meet student needs, to check for understanding, and to deliver effective lessons. And the way I did this was by implementing interactive games for the students to play, um, using weekly spelling tests to gauge student learning, and using a partner review as a fun and effective way for students to practice the word family that we were focusing on that week. The impact it had on student learning was it boosted the student engagement. So students were excited to learn, students were willing to learn, and students were willing to participate in the activities we had each week that we um, would follow the routine that I implemented. Um, it also had impact on the student collaboration. Students were excited to work together, and they were given the opportunity to teach each other words and to practice with each other. And it was less of me talking and more of them really exploring and working together. I also saw that there was consistent improvement from the first week that I started giving the spelling test to what is now the seventh week. And the first evidence that I have of this is the assessment data over the 7 weeks. So our weekly average was about a 92%, which is really awesome. And my takeaway from it was that by implementing the spelling test weekly, students were gaining accountability. What we were learning became meaningful to them because it was more than just of something that we were doing every day. There was something that they could not only show me what they were learning, but show themselves. And along with that, it built their perseverance. We talked about um, when they would miss some, how they needed to practice and continue to really use the time they had with their partners and the times we had playing our interactive games. And something else was it was consistency for them. So they knew every day we came in, we practiced our word family words, and every Friday we were going to have a spelling test. So what we were doing was building up to help them gain more confidence in the area and build their knowledge to um, show me what they know when it came to that spelling test. And the second evidence I wanted to present were the review games that we would play. I would play with them. So each week we had these interactive games based on the word family, and it was something that was fun for them to play. It was interactive, and they were able to show what they knew and show their understanding based on these games. So looking at the end of year now and looking at the extent of my growth, I definitely feel like I stepped out of my comfort zone by implementing assessments and um, allowing allowing feedback and taking that feedback and really working it into what I was doing in the classroom. I believe that I was successful in implementing more formal assessments. Like I'm before, our assessments were just based on um, beginning, middle, beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year, and they focus on letter recognizing letter uppercase, lowercase letters, letter sounds, and numbers. Where this implementing assessments like weekly spelling test and daily exit tickets, I was able to see student progress in a more real time, and there it covered more content area as well. And I believe that I became more familiar with the curriculum. However, I do feel the need to continue to dig into long term planning and perfect a pacing guide for the school year based on the curriculum that was new to me this year. The greatest impact I think that this first year had for me were the conversations that I had with my mentors and the veteran teachers at the school site where I work. I also believe that some professional qualities that came from this first year of induction for me were perseverance, able being able to continue to work through even though something may not be comfortable, the confidence to, like I mentioned before, continue to work through something even though it may not be comfortable or familiar, and the collaboration that I had with, like I mentioned before, the mentors, the veteran teachers, and other colleagues that are also going through induction as well. And the evidence that I brought for this part was some student work. So background on the student. When we first started giving the spelling test and working on these word families, the student was scoring getting one right on a spelling test each week, and his confidence level is very low. However, with the consistency of working on the word families, implementing peer review, doing interactive games, the student's confidence continued to grow. And although he may have struggled with letter sounds and reading words before, when we started this consistent routine and implementing assessments, I was able to work with him, and he grew um, tremendously from the first week to now. Now his average is about 5 right on the spelling test out of 6. And here is a picture of his work. So his progress went to show me that even though something was uncomfortable for me as a teacher to implement, it was paying off in the students, who were struggling before, being successful now. So I definitely, going back to um, stepping out of the comfort zone and really growing my skill as a professional and as a teacher. I am very grateful for this first year of induction and the collaboration I had with my mentors to help me get to this point to continue to help my students grow.